Well, it all started back when I first met Bill. It was probably October of 2006, and we got together, and we ended up getting engaged, and then I got pregnant with Lily, my daughter, who is going to be 5 at the end of this month. When I got pregnant with her, I was 40, and I had had diabetes since I was in my early 20s. And I have a son who's 16, special needs. And after I had him, the diabetes went away, and then it came back again. And so I had that. I always had borderline high blood pressure, but it was never out of control. When I got pregnant with Lily, it became out of control. It was pretty bad. My blood pressure would go up to, I think the highest was 265 over 205, and then it would plummet way down where I would almost pass out. And my fetal doctor had came in and told me that I needed to terminate the pregnancy. And I told him it wasn't going to happen.
There's a few pivotal days in a person's life that you'll always remember. And, you know, hearing that child's heartbeat and hearing the words come from that man's mouth were very difficult. And we both knew that that was not going to deter us from, you know, having this child.
She was due in the middle of December, and around October the 1st, they decided I need to be put in the hospital on bed rest. So they put me in, and they were going to have me on bed rest for almost 3 months. And it was just touch and go. They could not control anything. So on October 23rd, they said they were going to deliver her.
The day I got the phone call that they were going to go ahead and deliver her, I was incredibly scared, because I knew enough from talking to people, researching. When you're having a child at 7 months gestation and your wife is very ill, something bad could happen. So
they delivered her by C-section, and she was just under 3 pounds, but she was healthy, and she didn't have to be on a ventilator. She never got sick. She just needed to grow, and they kept me in for about a week after she was born, and she did good. And I continued to get sick, and it was gradual at first, and then around May of 2008, I got deathly sick. They could not control my blood pressure. They couldn't control anything, and I was on so many medications. Had a blood transfusion and almost passed away.
We hadn't really been faithful looking for a church for a while. On more than one occasion, Rhonda and I had discussed how we needed to have something that was ours together. But we both knew it had to be right.
It was in June, and we got a flyer in the mail, and it said Vacation Bible School. And I said, you know what? I really believe that Lily would like Vacation Bible School. We got this flyer. Let's go check it out. So I enrolled her online, and we brought her the first day, and there were kids everywhere. And the people were friendly and welcoming, and Lily went right into where the kids were. And I was just really hesitant about leaving, you know. And so she was happy to be there, so we kind of snuck out and hid in the back for a few minutes, and then we left, and You know, you've got those mother instincts where you've got that gut feeling where you know it's going to be okay.
I've been around a lot of different churches. I've gone to a lot of different denominations and met a lot of different groups of people, but just the people here were like different. And it's not something that someone can tell you. You have to experience it for yourself.
Being sick, I've got wires hanging out of me. I've got a limp right now. I'm in pain a lot. I don't have shoes that fit me. And things like that where you're worried about who's staring at you. You know, she didn't come dressed right for church. And it's not like that here. So I started seeing Dr. Lynn Johnson. And she was very nice. But when I went to see her, it was immediate that I get started for dialysis. And it was a slap in the face. I didn't know I was that far along. I didn't know that I needed it then, right then and there. And I was devastated. I didn't know what I was going to do. It was such a blow. And so to get that into my heart and wrap my head around the fact that this is where it was going was very difficult.
She was devastated. And I didn't have the words. I didn't have the actions, the hugs, any of that. No matter, there was just no way of repairing the feeling that she had had with that. And I'm like, I know it's going to be all right. Rhonda, I love you. I know it's going to be all right.
They told me that I could go to the kidney transplant hospital and see him since I was young and pretty healthy, that I was a good candidate for transplant and that I could go for a workup. So they send a few people over there. I got an appointment and I went over there and they work you up in an all-day thing. Tell you whether you're a good candidate and how it would work and everything. They tell you about what's called a living donor and what, you know, just being on a donor list. The living donor is usually someone you know. It's usually a relative or a friend of the family who has donated and matched. And it's not that often that it's just somebody who matches you outside of your immediate family.
We started going to Wade services and we met Calvin Jones and we started going to deckhands. And I think it was maybe the second time I went, maybe like the third time you'd gone.
I was always very open with my illness and sharing what was going on in my life.
Mike went to a deckhands meeting that I couldn't go to, and I was picking up my son from work that night, and he came home and he said, and we had just started the group, so I really didn't, know, I didn't know Rhonda then. I mean, I knew of her, and he said, Rhonda, she's sick, and I was like, really? And I couldn't tell. I knew that she was tired, and he said, yeah, she's going to dialysis 3 times a week, and that she's on the waiting list. And at the time I was like, oh, that's horrible. I can't believe that. And I prayed for her that night, and then I woke up the next morning, and something told me, you need to Google what it takes to become an organ donor. Anyway, I got on and I was reading all about it, and I was like, you know what? God's talking to me. He's telling me something. And so the next Sunday, I went on my week, and the next Sunday we had our deckhands meeting, and I waited until the end, and
she came over to me and she says, my husband told me what was going on in your life. She says, tell me a little bit about you being on dialysis. And so I explained to her, I go 3 times a week, and it's been difficult, but I'm getting through it. And she says, well, I went home and I thought about it, and I did a lot of research, And she says, I want to give you one of my kidneys.
I felt like this is what God is telling me to do, and I said, you know, I'd like to see if I'm a match for you.
That's another one of those moments she'll never forget. Just all in here. And I'm like,
I just knew that God had sent us here for that. And to find this family. And to find these people who were not going to let us go through this alone. Because up till then, we felt very alone. And I looked at her and I said, really? And she says, yeah. And she just lights up a room. She's so beautiful. She just lights up a room. And she was just smiling from ear to ear. And she says, I'm A positive blood type. What type are you? And I said, A positive. And I said, yeah, this is it.
The next day, I called the transplant hospital and told them that I wanted to, you know, possibly be a living donor, and they were like, okay. Well, they sent me some stuff in the mail, some literature, and then they also sent me for a blood test, because that's the first thing you have to do to make sure you're a match. And she and I both knew, because I asked her that night. I asked her what blood type she was, and she said A positive, and I'm like, I'm A positive. And so we knew that was a good thing, but it all has to do with tissue and all that matching, and so that when that test came back, that was great. It was a match, and so we moved on to the next step, and made sure that, you know, I was healthy enough, you know, that and that, you know, she had to go through more tests and stuff like that. Every test that came back was perfect.
We prayed about it, and we
said it's in your hands.
Right, and we quit worrying, and worrying and fear had been a common thing in our family, that we worried and we were afraid of what would happen if this happened and if that happened, and at one point we just decided that, you know, worry and fear was not going to be something that we're going to worry or that we're going to concern ourselves with, and from that point on it seemed like our lives got better. I mean, we didn't have the angst, we didn't have,
we were at peace.
We had issues where we would get upset about things between ourselves, and it was, you know, you could probably trace it back to worries and fears. And so that was probably the first thing that started us down a road becoming much more aware of what God's role was in our life.
I would say about 5 months ago, I was, probably longer than 5 months ago, I was struggling with, I would pray, and I would ask God to tell me, God, what do you want me to do, you know, with my job and this and that. And I would think I would know what he would want me to do, but I would do what I wanted to do instead. And so I really wasn't listening. I wasn't opening the eyes of my heart. And through time, I just started really concentrating on listening to what he was telling me. And so I think that's how it has strengthened me. I mean, this is just one thing that I've, you know, have learned from doing this.
It's God that enables me to live every day without fear and worry. That I truly know that is a distraction to where we need to focus our attentions, that we can become frozen in things that won't allow us to do good things if we're worrying and fearful. And you can see it, I guess, by people's inability to do things, is that they're worrying and they're fearful. They don't know what to do, and just like a deer in the middle of the road, they don't know what to do, and they'll just stop. My wife is supercharged right now, and like I said, we take our responsibilities as parents very seriously, and I know our kids are going to benefit from this, and that's what, you know, we hope.
And I
And we
think
hope that other
okay.
people do. That you know, it's, you know, not to necessarily maybe be an organ donor, but to find out that where God is and what God's saying to you.
I just, you know, I pray in the mornings, and in the evenings, you know, get in the shower and I'll be sitting there in the shower and praying. I'm like, not please, Lord. Thank you, Lord. Thank you for this. And it hasn't happened yet, but I know it is.
It's happened. It's happened. We prayed and we prayed and we prayed. And I knew that God was going to heal me. I was praying, God, heal me. I know that you can. I know that you're the only one that can. You will heal me. You're going to heal me. And it wasn't in the way I was looking for it, which is fine by me. It's just God has his way and his plan. And I know that now. And I know that we are meant to do something for the Lord. This is him showing us you are set here for something big. I am going to use you to send a message, to talk to others, to tell people about me. Tell them what I've done for you. Tell them I'm here.